Hello, what's up Pikmin fans? Today I want to talk about Purple and White Pikmin and how they could work in Pikmin 4. Because I've got a couple ideas for these Pikmin because in Pikmin 2 they were broken and maybe the Whites were not that broken, they were a mid-type Pikmin, and in Pikmin 3 they were just trash. They were only in the mission modes, so yeah. So I've got a couple ideas for Purple and White Pikmin, and these ideas are just my own opinion. They are not based on facts. So if you like my ideas or think they're complete trash, then maybe let me know in the comments. And if you like Pikmin or Metroid, Zelda, whatever Nintendo stuff, then make sure to subscribe because I really only do Metroid, Pikmin and Zelda on this channel. And I hope to have in between 150 and 200 subscribers before Pikmin 4 comes out. Like, that's my goal until then. So if we want to talk about Purple and White Pikmin in Pikmin 4, we first need to talk about Purples and Whites in Pikmin 2 and in Pikmin 3. In Pikmin 2, Purples were very overpowered. They could kill any enemy in seconds. While on the other hand, Whites are a very mid Pikmin. They have a poison revenge mechanic. Like if an enemy eats a white Pikmin, it does poison damage to them. But it depends on what enemy eats the white Pikmin, because some enemies die in one hit and others have like a resistance, like the Snaggerud. And now we move on to Pikmin 3, where everything went downhill for the Purples and Whites. First of all, they're not in story mode, so that's already a huge downgrade. So if they return in Pikmin 4, I really hope they're in the story mode. Like, please don't be mission mode exclusives. Please do not be mission modes exclusives. And in Pikmin 3, Purples suck at combat. Their damage is nerfed to 15 instead of 20. And their stun just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does no damage. And while the stun in Pikmin 2 did 50 damage on impact, now it just doesn't work. And Whites, their damage is also nerfed from 10 to 5 damage. There is no poison in Pikmin 3, and their poison damage does nothing. It does no damage. Like a Purple in Pikmin 2 needs to eat one white Pikmin to die, but in Pikmin 3 it takes 3 or 4 Pikmin for one big Bulborb just to die. So now that we've talked about Purples and Whites in Pikmin 2 and 3, here are my ideas for Purples and Whites that could make them better in Pikmin 4. For Purples, I think their latch on damage should be 10 instead of 20, but hear me out. If Purples have the strength, if Purples do 20 damage in Pikmin 4, that would make the red Pikmin pretty useless again. And I hope that Pikmin 4 balances out every single Pikmin. So I think it would be the better choice to give the reds the most damage to make them more useful again. And also the stun, I want it to work. I hope it actually stuns the enemy. And for Whites, first of all, give us poison hazards back, that's already way better. And a little more poison damage when eaten, but a little less than in Pikmin 2. And their damage should be 8. And Also make digging up underground treasures exclusive to white Pikmin, because if every single Pikmin can dig out treasure from underground like in Pikmin 3, the whites would be also pretty useless, because they won't be good fighters. Their poison damage would not insta-kill every enemy, and maybe you just only need them to destroy poison geysers. Like, I don't want that to happen to the whites. I want them to be useful. So please give them their digging underground treasures mechanic back. I think it was a very cool mechanic, and it made you, when you go in a cave, you are like, oh, I always need to take whites with me because I don't know if there are underground treasures that I need to dig up. So I think that makes the whites way more useful. So yeah, those are my ideas for purples and whites in Pikmin 4. If you liked this video, then please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. And let me know your ideas on whites and purples in Pikmin 4. Bye!